This is my video update from Larnaca, Cyprus on this Saturday morning, early morning here in Larnaca at Mackenzie Beach. What a last 12 hours we have had of news coming out of Russia, coming out of the southern city of Rostov on Don, which is very close to Donbass. And we have to talk about Prigozhin. Now I'm going to make this video very quick because Russian President Vladimir Putin should be speaking within the next 30 minutes to an hour of when I'm recording this video. But Prigozhin, we had what some people called a coup, what many people were calling a Prigozhin-Wagner coup d'etat. There was talk about Prigozhin marching his Wagner forces all the way to Moscow to overthrow Shoigu and Gerasimov. This was all over the interwebs. The collective West was cheering. I'm sure that the Zelensky regime was absolutely ecstatic, happy about this development, and the Russian media, well, they've been publishing a lot of news about what's going on, but they have been publishing it with a lot of care and restraint, I have to say. A lot of the Telegram channels, the really good Telegram channels, and a lot of the Russian media, they've been reporting this one really well. I have to admit, they've been urging calm and telling everybody not to believe in a lot of the misinformation that was being spread, because the Zelensky regime, the collective West, they started to spread a whole lot of misinformation about what was going on in order to fuel the chaos. But I think in this instance, the Russian media, especially the alternative media, did a really good job of keeping everyone calm and not posting too much, not posting too little, but not posting too much until it was confirmed information. So basically what we had Prigozhin taking some Wagner forces to Rostov on Don and calling for the Russian Minister of Defense, Shoigu, and the commander of the Russian forces, Gerasimov, to come and meet him in Rostov. That's pretty much the purpose of everything that has gone down and is going down. And Prigozhin actually entered the headquarters of the Russian military, the administrative building of the Russian forces in Rostov. He spoke to one of the commanders there, and he's basically like, look, he actually issued a statement as well. He's like, look, we're not going to interfere with the special military operation. The forces that are fighting against Ukraine, they're still able to fight. We're not holding anyone back or anything back. We just want Shoigu and Gerasimov here in Rostov to answer to us. I mean, I'm trying to explain this in a very simple way. That's pretty much what happened. And that's what is happening. This is not a coup. First of all, a coup against who? Against Shoigu? Against Gerasimov? That's not a coup. I mean, Prigozhin never says anything about Putin. Notice that? He never says anything about Putin. His beef, for some reason, no one knows why, his beef is with Shoigu and Gerasimov. And I think specifically it's with Shoigu, if I had to put a guess on it. But this is basically wild west stuff, I'm calling you out. I'm here in Rostov. I'm outside of the saloon, and I'm calling you out, Shoigu. Come and meet me, and we'll have a we'll have a shootout. That's pretty much what this is. This is not a coup. This is Prigozhin just having a meltdown, man. I mean, I know a lot of people that support Prigozhin, and I think the guy did a heroic job in Bakhmut. A lot of people are going to get on my case for me saying this, but look, over the past month and a half, Prigozhin has been saying all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, let's be honest. He has been saying stuff like Ukraine is taking over Bakhmut, Artyomov again. Ukraine has taken over Piatatki, the Russian military. They destroyed Donbass in 2014, or they pillaged Donbass in 2014. The Russian military is getting rolled back in Donbass. We're losing the conflict. I mean, and all of this stuff that he's been saying has been proven false. And one of the reasons, at least one of the reasons that he's giving for this column of military vehicles and men that has entered Rostov, one of the reasons he's giving is because he claims that the Russian military bombed a Wagner position or a Wagner camp or something like that, which has also been, from what I understand, has been proven false. The video has been proven that he showed has been proven to be nonsense. I could be wrong about that, but most experts, I've seen all the experts that have looked at the video. They've said this is not what he's talking about. Even the Russian Ministry of Defense came out with a statement, and they're like, "What are you talking about? Why would we bomb Wagner? Why would we do that? It doesn't make any sense." But that's the excuse that he used to launch this quote unquote coup. I don't even want to call it a coup, a protest, a beef that he has with Shoigu. And my take on Prigozhin is this, and we said it on the Duran. I said it on this channel. Me and Alexander talked about this in many videos, and we got a lot of pushback from people. A lot of pushback. You guys are wrong. Prigozhin is playing 5D chess, and Prigozhin's working with Putin and all of these things. And me and Alexander, our analysis on this, I believe, has proven right. Prigozhin, for 8-9 months, he was involved in a horrific, intense battle in Bakhmut. He saw things that 99.999% of the population will never witness, will never see. And it affected him. How could it not? And him and Surovikin, from what I understand, when they put together, specifically I think Surovikin, he put together Bakhmut, what they called it the meat grinder, to keep a little bit of Bakhmut open so that Ukraine continues to commit their military and they demilitarize Ukraine. It worked perfectly, but when they put it together, Prigozhin and Wagner, for the most part, they executed the plan, and they did. If you're looking at it from the Russian viewpoint, they're heroes. I mean, Prigozhin did his job, and Wagner did their job, and they demilitarized Ukraine. They committed Zelensky and Ukraine to Bakhmut, and and without employing the Russian military. Right? The Russian military didn't have to get involved. Look at how far out I am. And the water is like not even up to my knees. Gotta love Larnaca, I'm telling you. Wagner did an amazing job. If you're looking at it from the Russian viewpoint, they did an amazing job in Bakhmut. And it's one of the reasons why Russia is in the position they are today, which is winning decisively in this conflict. I mean, Russia is winning decisively right now. I mean, Ukraine can't even get out of the gray zone. They can't even make it to the first line of defense. And a lot of it is due to the work that Prigozhin and Wagner did in Bakhmut. But one of the major flaws of leaders is that they don't know how to step aside. And Prigozhin, he should have stepped aside. He should have taken a long break, and that should have been it. The Russian military, Putin, They told Prigozhin, job well done. Let the Russian military now take over. Let's move to the next phase of our plan, and let's repel the big Ukraine counteroffensive. You did well, Prigozhin. You're a hero of Russia. That's basically what Putin told Prigozhin. Now take a break. And Prigozhin should have said thank you and taken a break. But if you look at the human nature of people, it must have been hard for him to step back. You've done so much in Bakhmut, and all of a sudden Shoigu and the Russian military, they come along and they say, okay, great job. We've got it now. And, you've been in this environment for 9 months, this very intense, horrific environment. But also it must be, the horror, the fear, the adrenaline, the power, all of these things must be very, I can't even imagine. It must be addictive. It must be horrific. It must be all of these emotions must overwhelm you. And I imagine that Prigozhin was like, going through a type of withdrawal when all of this ended. I don't have another way to explain it. But instead of detaching himself and getting some rest, I think Prigozhin got addicted to the power, to the fame, to being the center of attention. And he started to come out with crazier and crazier statements over the last month and a half. No one was paying attention to what he was saying. That's true. Everyone was just kind of like, okay, it's just Prigozhin just talking nonsense on a rant again. And I think Prigozhin, he went for the nuclear option, so to speak. He said, okay, if they're not listening to me, if they've marginalized me now after everything I've done in Bakhmut, everything that I've accomplished, they're pushing me aside. Shoigu and the Russian military, well, I'll show them. That's what's going on here. And Putin's going to give a statement soon. By the time I put up this video, Putin will probably already be addressing the Russian people. And I expect this situation to be under control. But from what I understand, the Russian Ministry of Defense, the FSB, they're going to arrest Prigozhin. And I can't see this as any other way. I can't see this as any other thing other than a mutiny. It is what it is. This was a very, very dangerous move from Prigozhin as well, because that the minute he launched this movement to Rostov, and I'm trying to not use the word coup because it's not a coup. The only thing that makes this similar to a coup is the fact that it took place on a Friday, because coups usually take place on a Friday, and by Sunday evening, Monday morning, you either know that the coup is successful or it failed. And a successful coup means that the president or the prime minister has been either killed or removed, imprisoned. So this was not directed at Putin. This was not directed at the actual government in Moscow. This was some sort of beef that he has with Shoigu. It's what it is. It's what it is. And this was reckless because that when he launched this thing, Prigozhin, that the U.S. Embassy in Moscow and what is it, the fifth column, is that what you call it? All of the forces that have been purged, mostly by the Putin government, but they're still there. A lot of the forces inside of Moscow that continue to work to overthrow the government of Putin, that they were activated. They were activated. And this was a very, very dangerous, risky, reckless move by Prigozhin. Who knows what could have happened? You sow a little bit of doubt, you sow a little bit of chaos. It's ramped up by the collective West media, by the U.S. Embassy in Moscow. They start putting out their messages throughout Russia and to their people embedded in different places. And who knows what could have happened? This was a very, very dangerous and risky move by Prigozhin. He could have just gone to Putin, and he could have. I mean, he has his number. He could have figured out a way to contact Putin and figure this out. He definitely is in contact with Surovikin. Surovikin gave out a statement, and he told Prigozhin, stop moving your column towards Rostov. We call on whatever Wagner guys are with you to step aside, to step down. Don't do this. This is ridiculous. This is nonsense. This is hurting our cause. And he's right. So there was a lot of ways that Prigozhin could have handled it. But what did he choose? He chose the most public media route, the attention route. And finally, I'll leave you on this note, and let's wait to see what Putin is going to say. And I could be wrong on all of this stuff. I could be completely wrong, but I'm trying to see this from a very simple perspective. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the correct explanation. And this is not some sort of psyop or some sort of master chess move between Putin and Prigozhin, or the Russian military and Prigozhin. This is a guy who doesn't like another guy. And they're both very powerful guys. And the one guy is the Minister of Defense, who's now going to take over the entire operations, including the part that this other guy, Prigozhin, feels like, he should continue to receive praise and credit for. I mean, that's what this is about. But my final thought on this, so this has been a real rant that I've given this morning. But my final thought on this is from a media perspective and a narrative perspective. Prigozhin really effed up. He has now given the collective West an awesome talking point, an awesome media narrative to dig into. The coup in Moscow, the Wagner coup, the convicts rebel against Putin. Putin's power is waning. Putin's power is on the decline. His own military is turning against him. This is what you're going to hear now for the next 6 months, 6 years. This is what you're going to hear now. This is like Siege of Kiev, Ghost of Kiev times 100. And Prigozhin handed it to them on a silver platter. And they're going to run with it. This was a big, big mess up from a media narrative perspective. A very, very big mess up. And, this may prolong the conflict because EU leaders now, NATO leaders, they're going to go into the meeting in Vilnius and they're going to say, now we got them. Look, just a little bit more, a little more money, a little more weapons, and we're going to overthrow Putin. That's what Prigozhin handed to them. We're close, they're going to say. And Zelensky's going to say it. We're close. You see, the Putin government, the Putin military is cracking. It's cracking. We've seen the first signs of the cracks. That's exactly what they're going to say. They may not even need to do anything now in Zaporozhye. I'm gonna tell it to everybody straight. They may not even need to create a false flag anymore. This may have been just enough to ensure that Zelensky is going to get the money, the weapons, and the support in Vilnius come July 11th at the NATO meeting. Because they're close to overthrowing Putin, which is, at the end of the day, which is the main goal of all of this. It's not winning the conflict in Ukraine. It's not getting back Crimea, as they say, or getting back Donbass, as they talk about all the time, capturing Donbass and capturing Crimea and getting our territory back, and all the stuff that Zelensky goes on and on about, and Podolyak and all these guys talk about all the time. This has nothing to do with any of that. The main goal of the collective West is the regime change in Russia. And Prigozhin has he said, here you go. Here's some Here it is. I don't know what I was going to say, but Prigozhin's like, here you go. Silver platter. There you guys go. Now dig in. That's what Prigozhin has done. So this may actually escalate the conflict, not escalate, prolong the conflict. This may actually ensure that Zelensky gets money and weapons. It's going to embolden the collective West. It's going to embolden NATO. It's going to embolden EU leaders. It's going to embolden Ursula von der Crazy. It's going to embolden Borrell and Biden and Blinken and Nuland. And it was an own goal, a terrible own goal. And we said on the Duran, me and Alexander, many times, that if the Putin government does not find a way to just make Prigozhin happy, but put him in the background, keep him happy, put him in the background, and just end the chapter of Bakhmut and Prigozhin. If the Russian government doesn't find a way to do this, we are on record as saying it a month and a half ago, then this is going to come back and bite them in the butt, and that is exactly what has happened. So I'm trying to think if I have anything else that I want to say here. I think that's it. Yeah, this is a gift to the collective West. I mean, we are talking an absolute gift to them. I can't think of a better gift than what Prigozhin has given them, and very dangerous, because if the U.S. Embassy and the CIA, if they had managed to maneuver in Russia, to do some things in Russia, I don't know if they had managed to pull off some tricks or some tactics. Who knows what they could have done? Who knows what they could have done? Who knows what chaos they could have sowed? And it's demoralizing. It's demoralizing to the Russian military and to the Russian people. And one final thought, and I'm going to sign off here. This was done at a time when Russia was winning, bro. Russia was winning, not only winning a little bit, but winning big. I mean, Prigozhin should have been, if he was a team player, he should have been happy. He should have been like, dude, I did my part, and now look, we're doing even better now. That's a team player. The sixth man off the bench in basketball that comes in, does his part. Man, that guy, the sixth man off the bench, that guy is a superstar, right? I mean, Russia is winning, and they're winning so big. It's ridiculous how big they're winning on all levels, on the economic level, on the military level, on the public opinion level. They got 80% of the world with them. And so now China and India and all these countries are going to be looking on to this, and they're going to be like, what's going on here? So now Lavrov and Maria Zakharova and the whole Russian foreign ministry, they're going to have to start making their calls and calming people down. And Putin now has to get on TV and explain things. Putin's probably on a Saturday, he's probably, oh God. Putin's like, God, now we got this. Now I got to deal with this. And things were going super well. And now everything is just shifted. All momentum, everything is just kind of shifted now. And there are even talks that the Ukraine military is now trying to mount a very quick attack towards Bakhmut, Artemovsk, in order to capitalize on this chaos, if you want to call it that, this mutiny. Really, really just an own goal. And we'll see. We'll see what this means going forward. Anyway, let's wait for what Putin has to say. I expect things to calm down as the day goes along. I expect that Prigozhin's going to, most likely he'll be in trouble, but who knows? Maybe, Putin's always been loyal to his people. Maybe, he'll find a formula to not punish Prigozhin and to kind of put all of this to one side and to keep focused on what's happening in the front lines. But those are my thoughts, everyone. This has kind of been a bit of a ramble video. I apologize for it. I'm not as prepared as I should be, but I just wanted to talk about this story. I'm going to do another video today. I will do another video today because I want to talk about Modi and his trip to meet with Biden and everything else that's going on. And also, we'll talk a little bit about what Putin has to say, and we'll see if I'm right. We'll see if I'm correct after Putin speaks to the Russian people, or if I was wrong during this video and during this rant. All right, everyone, take care.